Hi everyone. Now that the dashboards are ready to use, I'm going to walk you through some of the finer points. I know Pearson has gone through this with us, but now that we have some real students and some real data, especially data from the diagnostic and from work students are doing in the units and the knowledge checks, I kind of want to show you how to differentiate between some of that stuff so we're all interpreting this the right way and can take the appropriate actions based on what we see as far as outreaching students and coaching them and stuff. So I'm using INT 113 as my example here simply because it just has the most students in it. It's very popular this term for Excel, so lucky Lisa. So you'll see that, when you come into the class, all your students are here. This is the objective progress. So this is based on essentially number of learning objectives that have been accomplished by each student. So Amanda Bitten, 37%. She's 37% done all of her learning objectives. So if there were 37 learning objectives, if there were 100 learning objectives, she would have passed 37 of them. Now from right here, we don't know if she passed them based on the diagnostic or based on doing work in the knowledge checks. But we can sort of discern that to a certain degree when we get inside to her individual account. So let's take a look at her as an example. So you'll see here some of the information about her progress. So in this first one, you'll notice that the green bar is for reading and the blue bar is for accomplishing the learning objective. So you accomplish the learning objective not by how much reading you do, but by either being successful on those questions on the diagnostic or the knowledge check. So these are the attempts on the knowledge check. So there's zeros, which means she has not taken the knowledge check. So she's completed this. She has the check mark. That means it's complete, and her score is 100%. It must have come from the diagnostic test. So that would have been marked accomplished for her right when she first entered her learning path. She might choose to go back and read the resources there if she feels that she needs it for her final project, or if you recommend that to her, but it's kind of telling her that she doesn't have to do that because it's marked accomplished. But there's nothing stopping her from accessing those things. So, but we do know that she has started reading on this first learning objective. It looks like a 1 out of 8 potential learning resources, and she has not attempted the knowledge check there yet. So you can check the same thing for each of these. For this student, everything that's complete looks like it's complete based on the diagnostic since we see all these zeros here. And we'll check some other spots. So that seems to be the overall story for this student. It does say that she has low activity, so she's not reading a lot, she's not taking a lot of knowledge checks. It says 0 assets viewed. I mean, we know she's viewed a couple, but maybe that's a rounding error. Generally speaking, that's pretty accurate. So the student hasn't really gotten started yet on doing a lot of work, so that's something we can tell here. If we want to check a different student to see, if we can capture something a little bit different, let's check her. So we see in her first one that she has a 0 here and accomplished it. So that was from the diagnostic. Here she took this learning objective knowledge check 6 times. So a couple of things could have happened. It could have been that she didn't pass it based on the diagnostic, and so she had to take it to get credit for it in her actual learning path. And, she had to do it 6 times to get this perfect score that we see. So it's a fully complete, so it's 100%. It could be that she passed it a few times, one of those first times before 6, but wanted to get a perfect score, so kept taking it. It could also be that she passed it on the diagnostic, but wanted to take the knowledge check anyway. All we know right now is that it is accomplished because it does have the check mark here. So you'll notice that some students might have a failing grade, so it only maybe goes up to 50%, but then they have a check here. That could mean that they accomplished it based on the diagnostic, but then the student decided to go ahead anyway and do the knowledge check. Maybe they didn't realize they had accomplished it. They were just on autopilot, just working through their stuff. and took that knowledge check and ended up not doing very well. They still get credit for it because that's kind of brought in from the diagnostic, but you'll see their actual score for their latest attempt if they did take the knowledge check anyway. But fortunately for them, it doesn't undermine the credit that they originally received from the diagnostic. So once you get credit from the diagnostic, that credit stays with you, no matter how poorly you might do on the knowledge check for that learning objective. Let's see if there's an example of that to show you. Where you can see where that happened more precisely. It might be with a different student. So we can see right now here that the later units, everything that's accomplished is carrying over from that diagnostic. So that's going to be the most important information. And if we go back to all students, I don't need to show Lisa's. You can remove yourself as a student if you want. If you find your name, you can edit the roster and you can remove your own name. You might also want to see, you might see me in there. There I am. I've probably been in most of your classes. I've already removed myself and some students that were in there mistakenly. So they're already hidden, but if you want to hide more students, or once a student is done with your course, they've submitted their final, you've submitted their grade to SNU, you can remove them this way under Edit Roster. And you can also take yourself out if you like. And then just press Save, and any changes you made will be saved. So let me find, oh, here's the student who had a good example of where she passed on the diagnostic but then did not do well on the actual test. So here's an example. So on this particular learning objective, she has a check mark. So that means she somehow accomplished this. But we know that she didn't accomplish it based on the knowledge check because her knowledge check score is only a 50%. So that must have carried over from the diagnostic, and she took the knowledge check anyway. And you'll see here that, we can see all the readings she's done. She's done a bit of reading in each of these learning objectives, but not all of the resources were read. And if you want to get more info on their reading activity, you can go to the activity button and click View All Assets and see exactly what was viewed and for how long. Right, so those are some of the basics. If you have any other questions, please let me know.